Welcome everyone. Today we're joined by Mike, Kelly and Ata McGregor from Two Shakes, and we're talking about what good onboarding actually looks like in a bookkeeping business, where things tend to go wrong and how to make onboarding and AML work in a way that's simple and practical.
Mike, Ata, it's great to have you with us. Do you want to kick things off by introducing yourselves and telling us a little about Two Shakes?
Sure. Well, my name's Ata McGregor, and
I'm Mike Kelly.
Two Shakes is cloud software to help engage your clients as a bookkeeper.
Yeah, so in Two Shakes, you can sign up your clients, you can capture the authority to act that you need to do your job to represent your clients, and you can do ID verification, which you need for the government authorities. But at the same time, if AML happens to apply, you can do AML customer due diligence. So you get the whole thing in one platform.
And you guys are
Perfect.
clearly very passionate about it because you've told us already what you do.
Mm.
All right.
What we
So
doing for 10 years,
whereabouts? So
10
you
years
guys are a
now.
New Zealand company as well,
Yeah.
and you're based down in Wellington. Is that right?
Yeah, well, we started in Wellington. COVID helped everybody go a little bit more remote. And 4 years ago now, we moved over the hill from Wellington. So we're now based in Masterton, but we go into Wellington once a week.
Just once a week?
Yeah, we work every day, but we go into Wellington to meet up once a week. Yeah, we only work on Fridays. No, that'd be lovely.
Oh, can I come and work with you? That sounds
Yeah,
fun.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You all
Yeah,
can.
it does sound like a fun environment. All right, so before Two Shake became what it is today, was there an original idea behind it?
It actually, I started it really because, and it was, I'm going to say about 11 years ago. I was working for this big government department called MB, Ministry of Business Innovation and Employment, and they tasked me with this job of this thing that they called delegations. It was called delegations by government. And basically, it was how do they know? How does the government department know that they're dealing with someone who has authority to represent someone else? And it's actually kind of a big problem across government. They're really concerned about in privacy and consent. And I spent almost the whole year going from government department to government department, figuring out this problem, whether it was with the police, with health, um, I've talked to lots of different people about within the social welfare space and disability space, and turns out it's a big problem in the financial sector for people to know if their accountant or bookkeeper or tax agent is representing them. So that was really interesting. And then when I dug in there a bit more, at that time, went and talked to some bookkeepers, and they said government doesn't even recognise that we're a thing. They were like, bookkeepers aren't even recognised. So back then, it was like I didn't really even know who bookkeepers were. I know that sounds weird now because it's such an established profession, but back then they weren't really known. So I guess we really dug in on that problem of getting authority to act on behalf of clients for the bookkeeping community, and that's where we all started from. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I feel like you've just blown my mind because I feel like when you think of Two Shakes, like Mike's the front person, like you're actually
Mm.
the brains behind the operation.
I'm just the
Like
dog with the bone.
literally. Oh, actually, you could be
Um,
like the poster boy. You're the poster boy for Two Shakes.
Yes.
I'll take that, Sandy. It's just to kind of expand a bit on what Atta was saying. Atta had done all of this, what became cross-government delegations work, and then a year or so later, Atta back at the MB again was putting together. At the time, the government was running these accelerators to try and get businesses to start up like ourselves to solve government problems or problems that affected government and affected New Zealand. As part of the old, what was called Result 9, Better Public Services, what was better for business. And so Atta said, well, Atta's actually put together the Result 9 accelerator that was run at Creative HQ, and people at MB and ACC and the like were involved, and said, I really want to go on it and start a business.
Yeah, well, for me, I never worked for other people. And there was this opportunity to kind of safely start a business because I was going to be paid by my government department to look at this idea of a new business, starting an innovative business that would be helpful for government. So we went on this accelerator. I said, come on, Mike, quit your day job and come join me. And yeah, that was really the start of Two Shakes. So we
Yeah.
spent 3 months under this intense hot house accelerator thing where they were trying to force us to do this big pitch. And there was a big picture theatre in Wellington called the Embassy Movie Theatre. They sort of hired the whole thing out, filled it with people, and we had to, aka Mike, had to get up in front of this big room of people and do this
Poster
big
boy.
pitch to be the
Yeah.
poster
So
boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
out of curiosity, why Mike, Ata? Like, what were you doing before then, Mike?
Oh, so I
I
was
know this.
working.
He,
Go on then, Sandy.
I know
Sandy.
Please.
No, we've talked about this, and I remember thinking, Mike, you're so smart. Like, wasn't it a really nerdy job?
Probably.
You were doing something policing-wise, weren't you?
Yeah. So I was working for
Yes.
police. I was never a police officer. I was working for police and police IT. And I did a few things in police, including like strategy and architecture, and ran the IT operations and stuff. So that was fun. Police was great. I was there for about 8 years before Two Shakes came along. But yeah, when Atta was going on this accelerator, what I was worried about was I'd never get to see her because accelerators are really full on. And I said, why don't I just take 3 months away from police and come and do it with you? And I had my own ulterior motive as well. And I hate public speaking. I always have. I'm okay if you just put me up in front of some people and say a few words over a sausage roll when somebody's leaving. But doing something that's prepared is actually really hard. And so a little bit for me, the 3 months on the accelerator and the big pitch in front of a couple of hundred people at the embassy at the end, was to actually overcome my fear and hatred of public speaking. So
Yeah, Mike was really good.
Yeah,
thanks.
he is. I was going to
Yeah.
say you've actually come a long way, Mike, because the first time you did a presentation in one of the NZQBA conferences, you were one of the favorite speakers because you were natural and you had jokes along the way as well. So like to deliver Two Shakes content in the way that you did, so it was a full circle moment for you.
That is
Oh,
so
thank you. Yeah, I know.
complimentary. Great.
Yeah, making onboarding and AML fun.
Are we allowed to talk about the world's worst secret? Like, Ata, how do you know Mike, and how did you drag him into this company?
I actually brought Mike back to New Zealand and I did my OE.
You brought him. You paid for him.
Oh,
I
yeah,
hooked
I was
him.
rich as
I hooked him in and I
expensive.
pulled him back to New Zealand. Yeah, we're partners.
Yeah.
We've been together for
28 years.
Yeah, 28 years.
So actually, yeah, I was just going to say. So really, the reason you wanted to help was not because you weren't going to see Ata for 3 months. It was because you were going to be solo parenting 4 kids for 3 months, right? Like, so you
Yeah,
was that.
you've tumbled me. Guilty as charged. Yeah, so we met over in the UK and sort of bounced around a little bit. We came over here, back over there, went over to America and stuff. We've got 4 kids, a house, a dog, and 3 cats.
Oh,
And a
wow.
free company.
And a software company, which actually
Yeah, and a
takes
software company. Yeah.
more. I think the software company needs more looking after than the kids.
Yeah.
I feel like you
Aw.
should have added tent in there, because I remember last year having a conversation when we were going on our annual camping trip, and you'd just brought this tent and you were super excited.
No, I was. And that tent, we actually have only tried it in the garden, but it stood up to a serious storm. So I'm still wanting to. Actually, we were talking about going over in a couple of weeks' time to the East Coast or to Porongaho, and I was thinking of taking the tent with me then. So
Oh.
So will that be the second time you've used it in a year?
yeah, we're rubbish. You probably camp every weekend.
No, I don't, because I have 2 kids and they're girls, and when we go somewhere, we have to take squishmallows and Barbies, and if it's for 3 days, we need to take 10 days worth of clothes. Like, I don't know where they got that from. It's definitely not me.
Yeah.
Do you not know? Oh my gosh, I'll send you some.
Oh,
I'll
Really?
share my
yeah.
collection with you.
Anyway, going back
Anyway,
to two checks.
yeah.
Nasty.
Ian,
So
don't take
these,
it away. I'm going to get rid of some
these
decluttering here.
definitely,
Really, all back in.
Cool.
All right. Okay. So I think you guys have already touched lightly on this, but if you can just delve deeper. So, what problem were you trying to solve with two shakes?
With 2 shakes, just to be clear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with two shakes. Just to clarify.
Started off with, how do you know if someone has authority to act for you? When I was
Mm.
out, I talked to lots of people, talked to accountants, bookkeepers, and then they said, well, the moment you know someone has authority to act for them is when you onboard them. So this problem of knowing who's representing someone became expanded out to knowing when to knowing you've got a customer and you've signed your contract. So there's an expansion of that idea to this kind of onboarding contract letter, engagement letter problem. And this problem is really interesting for nerdy people because onboarding is when you do the heavy lifting of most of your compliance. So if you're a bookkeeper and you don't onboard correctly, then you don't get your
Mm.
authorities done, you're not meeting your professional standards, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you need to do. So we really onboarding. That's the problem we're trying to
Yeah.
solve. Yeah.
And that's about why the getting authority to act became, when do you get authority? Well, when you're taking them on. So what do you do when you're taking them on? Well, you need an engagement letter. You need that electronically signed. So you've got your services, fees, terms and conditions all sorted, capture authority. And because the authorities, one of the things we found out early, and the thing from Ata's delegations work, is every government agency that we were dealing with sort of does it differently. And so we had to work out a way to make that as easy as possible for people to meet all of these different government agencies' authority requirements. And they've all got slightly different identity verification requirements. And so we had to work out something that would work for everybody and make it simple. And so bit by bit, it went from getting authority to act to signing up, getting authority, and doing identity verification. And that was great. And then a couple of years later, AML came along, but that's a different story.
So really,
So
what's
just to
on
touch on that,
compliance as well that goes with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Mm.
so
changing that.
originally,
Yeah. Sorry.
so originally 2 shakes, the focus, like we will get to AML, but I feel like a lot of people when they think of 2 shakes now, they think of AML because you guys do
Yeah.
it so well. But originally 2 shakes was to provide the onboarding software. That's right.
Yeah, it's just sign up. So electronic engagement letter, authority to act, and meeting the ID verification requirements
Mm.
for the government agencies that you needed authority. And we're talking about Inland Revenue, ACC, and Companies Office, so that you can represent your client and that they will have a record that you are working on behalf of them and can provide information to you so that you can do your job.
So
And
at the
because of
time,
you
did you
integrate,
find?
sorry.
No, it's all right. I think my internet's delayed. You go.
I was just going to say, at the time, another problem that people had was they needed to know that their customers were legitimate. And we were one of the first people that integrated with the NZBN. So we were pulling data from Companies Office, and it was a verification. This is a real client because all the data backs it up on the NZBN. Yeah.
Yeah, we were really lucky on that because at the time we were going through the accelerator, Companies Office was really launching the NZBN, and we saw it as a great area for us to be able to pull data. So you don't have to type things in; you can just search for it, pull down the information. And because they were one of the people or one of the organizations back in the accelerator, they were one of our original funders who gave us seed funding to build Two Shakes, along with ACC and Stats through the Data Futures Partnership.
So you guys managed to get money out of the government to start your business.
To build Two Shakes, yeah.
Yeah.
Any tips on how other people can do that?
I get Ata to put together a great accelerator program for government.
Yes.
There are
do you think?
there's lots of funding out there. You just have to look for it.
Yeah, I mean, we did get, when we were doing the AML stuff, we got supported again by Stats, but also the Westpac Innovation Fund. It was a
Mm.
case in Callahan as well, but it was just applying. It's just explaining to people this is worth investing in. It's worth supporting, because we could see the need. I mean, one of the big things, like Atta was talking about, bookkeepers in particular, government didn't really have them on their radar. So getting, saying I'm a bookkeeper representing this client, government was like, yes, so. So making all of that as easy as possible was actually really worth it because it makes business in New Zealand work better. So
But there is a lot of funding out there for
yeah,
doing some innovative things, even now,
yeah,
through MB. Yeah.
So, I guess probably I feel like we've jumped ahead because we
Mm.
know your system so well. Um, but I guess like would it can you explain it in like for a real beginner bookkeeper like because so we're talking about verifying things and all these being recognized as bookkeepers, but like at its core, how do you explain that to like a new bookkeeper who's come along? Because now, just when you were talking about, verifying information with governments, do you like how does that work? That's a big question. I know, I'm really sorry,
yeah,
but
no. And I think a big part of what Two Shakes does is it's a bit that when you get to the government side, it's different for each one. And so that's what makes it really hard for a bookkeeper to deal with government because it's all a little bit different. So we take on that pain. We understand how different it is and we work for, to government on behalf of the bookkeepers. But to come back to the original question, basically you're signing up a new client, right? So you want to say, this is what I'm going to do. Here's my services. This is what I'll charge you. And here's the terms and conditions in case things get, a little bit edgy later. So getting that engagement letter signed up, we just do that electronically. Client electronically signs it, dead easy. We capture the authority. Say, if you take inland revenue, it's the authority to link. So you would want to be a registered bookkeeper. If you're not a registered bookkeeper yet, you would need 10 clients that you're representing. If you're not a registered bookkeeper in Two Shakes, you can just tick a box and we automatically fill in the IR 597 nominated party form and get that signed at the same time. So once you've got 10 of those, you can apply to become a registered bookkeeper. And with Two Shakes, you can then go into My IR and link. With ACC, it's a bit different. The authority to act. So ACC, we're talking about your client is a tradie. They've got a problem with the levies. You need to contact ACC and get the levy information. ACC need to know you can represent the client. ACC has a form, the ACC's 1766. We fill that in and automatically send it to ACC. They process it, and then they've got it on record that you're representing that client. And with Companies Office, to do things like, manage company records, do the company annual return, all of that sort of thing. Some bookkeepers do, some bookkeepers don't do that, but it's there. We've actually got an API, so it's an electronic data interchange between ourselves and Companies Office, where we send that information to them, and then it goes on to your account. The next time you log in to Companies, you can see the new client you've just signed up in Two Shakes is in there waiting for you to manage their company annual return and stuff. So it's all
so
different.
you're kind of the link really, I guess, aren't you? Like two,
Yeah.
not you personally, Mike, sorry, but Two Shakes is the link. So you're helping the bookkeepers sign them up, but you're also helping them connect to the government services. So
I think
yeah.
the thing for a new bookkeeper, like someone that is taking on their first customer or their first client or their second or third, um, they don't know what they don't know. And there's a
Mm.
bunch of stuff they don't do correctly that will cause them a lot of pain further down the track or will require them to chase their clients with lots of paperwork. They could put themselves in a position where they don't have any protections if their client doesn't pay them or defaults on things, or they could put themselves at some legal risk. And and they don't know what they don't know. So if someone has never taken a client on before or has only worked for someone that they know, maybe a family member or something up until that date. Using Two Shakes protects them
Mm.
because that's going to guide to do and capture everything that they need to know to be compliant across all those complicated things that Mike said in the software. It just guides them to do the right things, and it's free. If you use it for the first 10 times, it's free. So for it's really built for those really small beginner bookkeepers that don't
Yeah.
really know what they're doing. They need to get a little brave and find their first customer and do that, and it's going to set them up for a fantastic future. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're just wondering then, before Two Shakes came into the picture, how do you think people were managing this process before?
Well,
Some
they
people
just
use
weren't.
yeah, well, there's still people out there
There
doing it
was
manually.
I would hear them, like, picking up the phone, ringing, having to do lots
Mm,
of paint, basically.
Yeah.
So they wanted to talk to IR, they had to, there were really hard processes to get in contact with IR, they had to phone up, they had to get their client to come into the office and do something on their computer,
Mm.
or they would just, pretend to be their client and take their client's log-ons and do things which is not very safe because you're in a position of risk.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have an engagement letter, they wouldn't have any terms and conditions, sometimes people wouldn't pay them, so they do a whole bunch of work and have that no legal recourse.
Mm.
So, yeah, they were just exposed,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
even if they did an engagement letter, it would be on a Word document or something, and then they would email it to somebody and ask them to print it out, sign it, scan it, and email it back. It's who's even got a printer now, right?
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I
You know,
do.
you
Yeah.
know,
I
but
do.
it's
You know,
just
it's
it's
actually
asking.
used to print out colouring pages for kids to
I had
colour
a
on.
feeling. Well, I could kind of tell from the doll's house there was probably a little bit of colouring in going on somewhere. But yeah, so it was happening, but it wasn't happening very well. It was, it's messy. Even just the
Mm,
engagement, let alone the government authorities. So before we came along, it's a real problem. And honestly, there are people out there still that aren't
so
in two shakes. Can't believe it, but there are. And they're just struggling through. And yeah, their life could be so much easier.
and I think that's a perfect segue for my next question. So, what problems does poor onboarding create later on? So, if they're not on Two Shakes, they're doing their own onboarding, what problems does it pose for them for the future?
Well, I'll start with the engagement letter.
Okay.
Right. So, you're doing work, you're doing professional services for a client. You need to know what the scope of those services are. So this is what I'm going to do for you in black and white, not just I'll be your bookkeeper. And then scope creep, you don't know what you're doing. It suddenly becomes, I'll give me $100 a week becomes like $1,000 worth of your time because they are asking for things all the time. So you need to nail down, these are the services we're going to do. This is how much I'm going to charge you. And I've got my terms and conditions here. If there's any disputes or anything goes wrong, these are the rules that we're working to. If you don't have that nailed down to start with, then you're going to end up doing work that you're not getting paid for. You might not get paid at all. And you're not going to keep it up to date. You're not going to do the hygiene stuff that you need to do with your clients to keep it updated, to review your services and fees and make sure each year you are doing a little bit of a review, making sure the scope is right. Does it need other services in there? Do the charges reflect that in the agreement? And get it all signed off again. So if you're not doing it with the services agreement, you're not doing yourselves any favor because you're not charging for your services properly and you're not really respecting your capabilities.
So I think one thing a lot of new bookkeepers, like we throw the term engagement letter around because it's quite
Mm,
common terminology to us, right? But um, it could be terms of service, it could be like referred to as a contract. Like basically, it's your legal document, your legal agreement. Yeah, um, protecting you. It's so important, people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's the agreement.
now, yeah, I was
I was
just going to
just
say from memory, Two Shakes has one built in, doesn't it?
yeah.
Like you
So
offer a basic version?
well, yeah, that's right. But the first thing you do, it comes pre-packaged with a set of services, and there's some fees that you can put in there. There's some basics, but you need to put your own the way you put your fees in, and some T's and C's. But if you've got your own, you can do it. The first thing when you're in Two Shakes is basically you set up the profile so that Two Shakes looks like your business. So you can take what we've got as a starter and edit the services, edit the fees, edit the terms and conditions, put in your logos, all of the emails that we send, you can edit so that it's all got your flavor, it's got your culture through it, it's got your branding, and it reflects your practice when you're signing people up. But yeah, that what I was talking about is just the services, fees, and that engagement letter. But even the authorities, if you don't get your authorities sorted out up front, then you've got pain coming down the line for you as well, eh?
Yes, I mean, if you're working with IRD, for example, and they're really what's the word? How to say this nicely? They're very hot on people having authorities in place, and they
Mm.
do come check them. And if you get even a few words wrong in your authority statement, they can ask you to redo them all, which means you'll have to go out to all your clients and re-sign them again. And we do see that from time to time. That
Yeah.
comes up. So that's another problem. People often don't
So
identify.
that's the difference between being proactive and reactive, isn't it? Like you're proactively signing up with Two Shakes to get
Mm.
your documentation right from the start,
Yeah,
Make
whereas,
sure you're protected
you'll
as
be more
well.
reactive. Yeah, and if IR knocks and says, "Hey, this isn't right," then all of a sudden you're in a panic when you didn't need to
yeah,
be because
yep.
there was this
That's
really cool
Yeah.
option.
yeah.
Yes.
Um,
And
mm.
apart if and apart from that, like if someone is not in Two Shakes, what are the other like biggest onboarding mistakes that you see as well?
Um,
Not being on Two Shakes.
Normal. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Next
mean,
question.
that, that's
Yeah.
probably the biggest thing. But it comes back to that if you don't have everything done up front, right? So, you know, just having your they're not getting paid enough for the services for a start. They're not growing their business
Mm.
organically through their existing client base. And they're not charging enough, almost certainly. So that's one part of it. But if you don't have that in place and there's a problem, then you don't really have a leg to stand on because you've just got a verbal contract and it's much harder, right? On the authority stuff, if you authorities are the sort of things that when you need them, there's normally a rush, right? So the client will be like, "Oh my God, you've got to do this for me." And it's like, it turns out I don't actually have authority to do that. Can you fill this out, sign this, send it back in, possibly send it to me, possibly send it to government. They'll process it. And all it's like, but I don't have time for this. You need to be able to represent me. And it's like, well, we didn't get all of that sorted out. So government isn't we didn't get it sorted out at the beginning, so government isn't going to listen to me. You can either sort it out yourself or you can wait, for the authority to come through. So it's just really the client experience is not nearly as nice as if you've got all your admin up front.
Do you find that, like, I think I've been around bookkeepers for quite a number of years now, and there's a lot more recognition for it now, but back in the day, people were doing it as a side hustle. And to me, like, I always felt like people didn't like once you take on a client, you're running a business, and I think people struggled to shift from that, oh, I'm just helping so and so out for some, dare we say, cash on the side. Hi, IRD. Um, like you can't have that mentality because you do need to have the contract slash engagement letter slash terms of service in place to protect you. But there's a big shift in mentality from jumping from I'm just helping, Bob down the road with, oh, I've got a lovely neighbour named Bob actually. Side note, there you go. Hi, Bob. Bob down the road doing his bookkeeping to suddenly realizing actually I'm running a business here. Um,
and
so
there
people
and
thinking they
there are
can
legal
just do it.
obligations. There are things you need to do when you're running a business that you need to be aware of. You need to be There's privacy law in New Zealand. There's a whole bunch of things that you just need to do.
Yeah,
You put yourself at risk if you start a business and you're not careful. Mm.
for sure.
So what can they do immediately then? So let's say, for example, there's a bookkeeper who hasn't signed up in Two Shakes yet, and then they heard this podcast today. Like, like what's one thing that they could improve immediately? Is it too late to sign up to Two Shakes, or can they still sign up to Two Shakes even if they already have their, you know what I mean? Like how they do their onboarding before. So how does it work?
Be going
The one
backwards, I
thing they
guess,
could
wouldn't they?
definitely The one thing they can
Yeah.
definitely do is sign up to Two Shakes, right? So if as soon as they do that, we see a lot of people doing different things. Sometimes people are signing up to Two Shakes a little bit because the IRD community compliance officers come along and said, "Hey, you don't have these. Show me these authorities," and they can't put their hand on them all, so they have to put everybody through. But mostly, if they sign up for Two Shakes, any new client that they sign up it's sorted straight away, right? So they can get everything sorted up front with their new client. So all of the admin compliance is taken care of. With their existing clients, they can decide, shall I put my existing client base through and make sure I'm covered? Or will I wait until it's time to renew and I'll review that client and put them through 2Shakes then? And we see people doing one or the other. There's no need to do your whole client base at the first opportunity, but sign up, start putting your new clients through it, and then if you want, start dribbling through the existing clients or put them all through in one hit. We've had people put sort of thousands of clients through in the first month or two just to get everybody across the board, authorities and engagement letters compliant, because they wanted to make sure they were squeaky clean. So it's up to them. But sign up and start putting your new clients through. Pick up your old ones when you're doing your renewals, at the very least.
I have a story followed by a question. So I used to work at a CA firm, and I was actually the tax registrar. So I did a lot of the IRD management for the whole firm of accountants. And one of the things that particular firm did was I don't know where it came from, to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it. But their engagement letter, we had to do it, make sure there was a new one on file every 3 years. I'm not sure why it wasn't done annually. I don't know if it's in the legislation, if you know that. But back in those days, I feel really old saying that, but we had paper files for Africa, right? So when it came up, like you had to, when the client's shoebox of receipts came in, you had to go through all this paperwork to see if they had an engagement letter, and then you had to send it back, and then someone had to remember to follow it up, and then someone would ask a question and realize we didn't have one, all that kind of stuff. So my question is, so you mentioned the annual review there, Mike. I assume that's, partly to do with fee increases, right? Because you want to be increasing your fees a little bit each year. But is there a requirement that you have an engagement letter each year? And second part of the question, does 2Shakes remind you that you need to get a new engagement letter? Gosh, I'm coming out with the good ones today.
Yes.
There's a lot to that.
I might need a nap.
The requirement for re-engaging clients tends to be pushed by professional bodies, to be honest. So it's more, that might have been something that was more to do with the chartered accountants body, rather than a legal requirement. It's good hygiene and good practice to review, obviously, but you get other things that can trigger it. So regularly, we were talking about the Inland Revenue Authority, there's a block of text, and every now and then it changes because they might exclude a different IR account, like, child support or whatever. So there's various things that can happen in there. And when the IR come and inspect you, they will expect that you have got an authority with the latest wording on it within a reasonable amount of time since they updated the wording. So, and so you'll get those things. 2Shakes does, you can see how long it's been since you've done things, and you actually just hit the renew button and it creates a new version of it. In the renewal process, we have a starting point of the services and fees that you did last time, because clients are different, and so we start with that, and you can then edit it for that client. We pull through the latest wording from the Inland Revenue from your profile, and if you haven't updated it, we'll normally keep that up to date for you. And we pull through your latest terms and conditions. So if you have updated your T's and C's, when they do the renewal, they're signing up to your new T's and C's as well. So it makes it really easy to keep on top of the renewal. And if you've done an ID verification already, then we don't need to go and re-ID them unless the rules have changed there, and we might suggest that you upgrade it as well. So we keep an eye on those things and just make that renewal process easy for you.
So not only does it help you sign up clients, connect you with services for authority, it's like your memory bank as well.
I like to think so, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Now that we've established what a healthy onboarding looks like, now we want to talk about, where does AML naturally fit into this onboarding?
I don't think it naturally fit, did it? It came in with all the bells and whistles, made you guys go, and then you moved on.
Well,
It extends it. It
Yeah, it
extends
does.
it, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's what the best that you're required to do a whole not a whole bunch, some additional information capture if AML applies. Yeah,
yeah,
so it's just an expansion of what you capture during onboarding that comes out. Adds a little bit extra on
yeah.
for AML. Yeah.
And if you think about it, we talked earlier how getting authority to act became like, well, that's the point where you're taking a client on. So we'll have the engagement letter and authority to act, and you're already doing ID verification for the government authorities. AML is about doing customer due diligence. And the time you do customer due diligence, if you have to do it for those people, is when you're taking them on, right? So it fits into that same point in the relationship where you need to know a bit more about your client. So you're already doing a whole bunch of stuff. You're ID verifying the person you're dealing with. You're talking to them and getting to know them a bit more. AML just means if you have to do it, it takes it a little bit further. There's some additional stuff that you have to find out. There's some more information about them that you need to find out. And you need to know who else is in the mix. Is there other directors? Are there other major shareholders? What about other trustees? And then you need to verify their identity as well. So there's extra things that you do, but as far as fitting in, it fits into that. There's lots of other parts of it, but it really does fit into that point where you're engaging the client. So it is onboarding still. And in fact, in Two Shakes, when you're signing up a new client, put the client in, here's my services and fees, here's my terms and conditions, the authorities I need. And then you come to a box or a page that says, do you need to do AML for this client? If you don't, you just go ahead and you verify, say, one of the directors that's signing. If you tick the box, it opens it up and there's some more stuff that you need to find out. And there'll be some additional people that you need to verify their ID for. But it really is fitted into the same process when you're signing them up. So, yeah.
I don't know that we'll go down the rabbit hole of AML because that might actually hurt Ken and I's brains. But I just wanted to mention here that so NZQBA offers some micro courses, and one of the ones that we saw real value in doing was AML because it is so confusing for bookkeepers to know whether they fall into that trap. So because Ken and I are ambitious, actually, no, we're right, we're
Yeah,
ambitious.
we are.
Um,
Right.
we thought we could do it ourselves, and oh my God, it was so hard. I had to, I don't know if I called you, Mike, or emailed you in desperation for help because we really wanted to educate the bookkeepers on why they needed to know about it. I guess it goes back to people needing to do business properly, right? Like you need to know about this, and if you're doing this, you're actually falling under AML, and you can get yourself in trouble. So Mike and Ata, actually, I think it was Ata more, very kindly helped review all the uh, uh, like not quite correct material that we had tried to write, and helped us produce the AML micro course for bookkeepers. We've had so many people go through that, and like even bookkeepers that have been around for a long time and have learned something from that because AML is such a big thing, right? Like it's just so hard. And for bookkeepers, you just need to know the bit that affects you. But I think for a lot of bookkeepers, the words just like it feels harder than it needs to be.
Mm.
Because a lot of do you have like any data on how many bookkeepers actually fall into AML or like I know a lot of them avoid the services so they don't, but do you guys have any
It's
intel on
about,
that?
for us, across our client base, it's about half. So about half of the bookkeepers that use Two Shakes are doing AML, and about half are just using Two Shakes to do that engagement letter and the authorities and the ID verification for the authorities. So, and it's mostly managing funds. So it's mostly bookkeepers who, as part of the engagement, are going into their client's bank account and paying their bills.
Or payroll. They'll
Like,
be doing
yeah,
payrolls.
payroll. If
Some
it's
payroll.
in some payrolls where the bookkeeper's moving the money without the client going on and approving it. So they're hitting something and the money's getting paid, it's coming out the client bank account, off it goes. They're basically managing the funds. That's what mostly captures them. But it's about 50-50. And we, as you know, from the course, we always start with, here's what would make you in. So if you can avoid doing this, then great, less compliance for you, and that's all good. And if you can't avoid it because it's a chunk of your business and you can't give that away, Two Shakes helps make it a lot less painful. Yeah, because we guide you through.
Yes, AML is hard because I think for two reasons. And one is there's a whole new language you have to learn. Like they use really
Beneficial owner.
beneficial owner and enhanced and proof of funds, and they have all these terms that they use. So that's
Politically exposed person, the PEP, because like it's so like yeah, politically exposed person makes it sound negative, but then the acronym is PEP, and that sounds like happy, like
Yeah, happy.
yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's like another language, and then so there's that, and the other thing that makes it hard, I think, is it's got conditions. Everything's conditional. You only have to do these things if that and this, and that's really tricky for people like to navigate. So if it's one of these or one of those, so and I always say this software's good at conditional logic, and this is why using Two Shakes makes it so much easier because you just say it's one of those, and it goes, oh, it's one of those. This is the one thing that you need to do.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're trying to do it for yourself, looking through the guidance and documentation, it's like, oh my God, it's one of those. But then the clause 17 says this and clause 5 says this, but I don't know which one matters. And, you get confused. So, yeah.
So you
Yeah,
have to be a
so-
lawyer
AML's
to
not
interpret
that
it.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
AML's not that bad. Plenty of bookkeepers do it, and lots of them are small. So don't get scared off.
lots of
Yeah.
those part-time bookkeepers that you're talking about, Sandy. We've got lots of people like that who are using Two Shakes, and they're AML reporting entities, and they're still part-time bookkeepers, and they're still
And they're doing it really well.
So it's once you get into it and you learn the language that Atta was talking about, there's a few different words that you need to learn and add to your vocabulary. Once you get there, the software supports you through it again. Because we know things, particularly if you're taking on a company, we're getting such good information coming through from NZBN and company's office. We're building an ownership structure. We're able to say, here are the directors, here's anybody, even if, it can get quite complex when a company owns a company owns a company, but we kind of add all of that up and we say, here are the people who are those beneficial owners that trigger the requirement to do ID verification. So there might be an extra couple of people that you need to verify, but the software takes you through
Kind
and
of shows you
shows you
tells
that,
you what to do with them.
so it just makes, and because we do the biometric ID verification, all you need is their email address. So you can just say, like, once I put the email address in, it sends them an email, they put their mobile number in, they do the biometric, you get all the results back,
Including the pitch.
including the PEP check,
Pep and
it's all
check.
done. But, it means the client does it for a couple of minutes. They can do it on their mobile phone at home. It's really easy. And you've met your AML requirements without even meeting somebody that you didn't know about 5 minutes ago, but you've verified their identity and you're fine if you get audited. So makes it easy.
Yeah.
We had so my husband and I, we have an accountant, and I probably shouldn't admit this, but my husband's a real man's man tradie. Like the missus will look after it, send it to her, and so usually when we've had to do paperwork, things like that, I'll just do it, he'll sign it, and then it goes away, right? But our accountant uses Two Shakes, and he got the email. Well, yeah, I know, yay. He got the email and he sent it to me and he's like, can't you just do it for me? And I was like, nah, buddy, you're going to have to figure this out all by yourself. So he's like, literally, I vividly remember this because I was peeing myself laughing. He was standing in the doorway and he clicked on the button. He was like, he turned into a geriatric old man where he's going like, what do I have to do? What do I have to push? And then at the end of it, he goes, oh, was that it? I was just like, it wasn't like all you had to do was like click some buttons and take a photo, man. Like it wasn't that hard.
Yeah. Most people know how to use the phone camera to take a picture of their ID document and they know how to hold it up and it tells them what to do. And it says, right, give us a smile or move your head. And it just thanks. So
it was pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
It's way better than having to hop in the car with your passport, drive to the office and go see someone who looks at you and then fills in a piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier.
Or, in the AML world, if you can't meet the person, you're going to say to them, right, what I need you to do is go to a justice of the peace or a notary public and take your driver's license and some other stuff or your passport. And they're going to take photocopies of it. They're going to get the old seal out from 1920 and put the big seal on it and then sign it and everything. And they'll charge you about 80 or $100
They're
for
not
that.
supposed to charge you, but they will charge you.
They will.
Yeah.
Place doesn't, because I can confirm I've done that for him before too.
Yeah, and then post me the originals of that, not copies. I need the originals. So all of that stuff that you have to do, and instead of that, is 2 minutes on your mobile phone.
Because there's nothing
Do it.
safer than
Easy
sending a
peasy.
verified copy of your ID via New Zealand Post, right?
Yeah.
I
You can sit in
recently,
someone's office too,
know,
in their filing cabinets
so
as well.
Yeah, exactly.
a year or so ago, when because we were in the process of expanding into Australia, part of what we had to do was to get an ABN, an Australian business number, and they don't have things like biometric ID verification for people in New Zealand. I had to get certified copies of my passport, and I had to send them courier to the Australian, the ABN people, and it got lost
Oh, did it?
for about 3 months.
Oh,
I
no.
honestly, the irony, having a software company try to get into a country that you could help avoid that sort of problem. They found it
Yeah.
eventually. It took about 3 months to find it. It was sitting on somebody's desk. Somebody had signed for it and just put it on a desk and nobody had opened it. It just sat there. So they did find it after several months. But during those months, I was pretty much emailing them every week saying, have you found it yet? Have you found it yet? I'm really worried. This is what my passport, my ID details, that you don't need that stress, eh?
Yeah,
So
exactly. So with how far we've come now, do you think AML could have been made easier?
Well, they're bringing it in Australia at the moment, and
Yeah.
that's really interesting for us because we can see the difference. In Australia,
Hang on, sorry, did you say they're bringing it in now? Like it's
yeah,
actually,
1st of
it
July.
wasn't. Oh, so they had. So we had something before them. Well, other
Not
than
only
the
that,
let us know class and
not
stuff.
only
Yeah.
that, New Zealand's way above Australia. We're like the 10th best country
Yeah.
in the world for
Yay.
AML. Australia's down there
Yeah.
like number 28. They're
You're
like,
on risk.
oh,
The Basel Index of Risk
yeah.
that you need for your AML program. New Zealand's up here and Australia's out here just now because
We're better.
Take
Australia
that.
has AML the same as New Zealand did the original AML for like banks and casinos and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
What was our phase 2 that came in 2018 is their tranche 2, and it comes in on the 1st of July.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, a little bit
So
in
like,
denial.
so is there like, so Ken was just asking if the process could have been made easier. Like, if you're comparing the New Zealand AML to the Australian AML, like I imagine that you guys are looking at it going, oh, that's like, why are you doing that? Like you could make that so
Yeah.
much simpler. Like, are you comparing countries? Like, well, obviously we are because New Zealand's up here and Australia's down here.
It's hard not to. I think we've basically had to completely dissect our brains. So we've got one half of our brain is New Zealand and the AML stuff we've been doing for the last sort of 8 years. And the other half is living in this parallel universe, which looks the same AML, but is a bit different. And it's strange because it's mostly similar because it all comes driven by the Financial Action Task Force, which is a global body, but it is different. And they are doing some things different. Some things, to be honest, I think they've done better. There's a lot of help and the program and risk assessment stuff and all of that stuff that was hard for people here to get because you were pretty much left to try and work it out for yourself. They've provided people with starter kits for different industry on that. Whether the starter kits are as good as they could be is a different thing. We are trying to help with that.
Is that
So they've done
because
some
all these other countries have done it before them, though? Like they've had the benefit of hindsight
Yeah.
and they've been able
Yes.
to
Yeah.
prepare all
They
that.
can see
Like,
the problems. They'll be talking to
yeah.
people here and around the world and saying, so what things were really hard? And it's like, well, if you tell somebody you need to do a practice risk assessment and develop an AML program with all of your policies, procedures and controls, and then say, get on with it, that's really hard if they don't have a starting point to work from. So they're,
Mm.
they're
Ken and
providing
I would have
people,
been napping by the point you given
Yeah.
us that sentence anyway. We
you
would have
know,
been
but
out.
what do you think? There's other parts that is less robust maybe than what we do here. The
Well,
requirements are
I
less.
do find it interesting, the differences.
Yeah.
I feel that they are more lenient in Australia with their requirements.
Mm.
Oh, well, they are a country founded on convicts, right?
We can say that.
Andy.
Some of my forebears were probably sent there.
Well, he's a Kelly.
I'm a Kelly, you know.
Oh, yeah.
The thing that's interesting about Australia, I guess, if you're a bit of a nerd like me, is that they register trusts. We don't have a register for trusts in New Zealand.
Oh, yeah.
Trusts are like was a perfect vehicle to money launder. And in
Yeah.
Australia, you have an ABN if you have a trust. So
Yeah.
you can look them up and you can verify them. So I think that probably lowers the risk for them.
Yeah.
Wasn't
There's other things as
didn't
um, it's easier to do simplified. So simplified due diligence it just means there's less
Mm.
people to verify. And in most of the case, if you're, here, if you've got low risk and there's no enhanced stuff like a PEP that you're talking about, if none of that
Peps
applies,
are going to be
then
famous after this?
it's famous, absolutely.
Get
But
some
at,
pep
the-
in your life.
at, at that point, here you would do standard due diligence, and over in Australia, you'd collect some more information, but you wouldn't have to do it. You can do simplified. It's a little bit different, but same words, just less work to do.
But in New
Something
Zealand, if
risk.
you've got a trust, it
Oh,
enhances
yeah,
it from the get-go.
yeah,
And there are a lot of trusts, and a lot of
yeah,
people have, they put their ownership of their shares into a trust.
yeah,
As soon as that
Do you
happens, it sets the risk up in New Zealand, and then you have to do all this extra work.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's different in
So I
Australia.
used
That's
to
not.
work in law firms, and I remember like there was lots of talk about having a trust register in New
Yeah, they
Zealand.
do
Is
bring it
that,
up.
do you know
And
about that? Has it gone anywhere?
Oh,
The
it
Law
comes up.
Society was driving it, weren't they?
They it's been raised, talked about, and put back down again
yeah,
several times. I
Mm.
think the Law Society probably won't be into it because this will be a lot of effort for them, eh?
yeah. I'm
I don't
not.
know.
I'm
I'm
not
not sure
sure.
what they're
I'm
standing,
sure.
where they stand. Yeah.
Like companies' office would want to get involved, or NZBN
Mm.
definitely get
I,
involved. But
I would
Well,
have
it
it if
just
it was
seems,
up to me. I would say you should
yeah,
register a trust. There's no need not to. Yeah,
well, you've got
there's
a
no reason.
separate societies register. Why can't you have manage a trust register?
yeah.
Like
Well,
You get
let's
most
on that,
trusts
completely.
Sandy.
are, are tax
completely
registered.
The other side that we have here is coming back to the NZBN. We have this rich information that is completely free resource of all of the companies and the ownership and directorships, and we can just connect into it via API and pull that information. In Australia, they have ASIC, which is their company's office. You can get the reports of who are the directors and who's the share owners, but you have to pay for them,
$20.
and you can't get that over API yet. So you can't get all of that information easily over API, even if you want to pay for it. It just makes things much harder. Hopefully, it will come,
It
but
would
it
help you money launder, wouldn't it?
makes Australian AML much harder. So
Yes.
anyhow, there are differences.
Gosh,
Sorry.
I've got quite a bit of family in Australia, and one of my younger cousins is always like, "You guys should move over here. The pay rates are higher." And my next time he says that to me, I'm just going to be like, "Yeah, but your software's backwards. Like, you can't even like
Your
do
money
an
laundering.
API."
Oh, no, it's way better here in New Zealand. So
Yeah.
It's always
Actually, just on that, like, I'm just sorry, random things pop into my head all the time. So we were talking about Australia bringing AML in. Like, I lived there for quite a few years, and one thing I vividly remember was because I was still working at law firms then, and I worked in a team that did work cover, which is their ACC. And one thing that was really weird to me was like every state had different rules for work cover, and they have different, well, I can't think of any other examples, but they tend to have like slight variations on things across the states. Is AML going to be national in Australia, or are there variances between the states?
no. It's run by AUSTRAC, which is a federal agency. So
Oh, lucky, because
it
imagine how
there
hard
is
that would
yeah.
be.
Oh God, everything that we have read is it's just Austrac, and this is how we do it in Australia.
Same rules.
There's no, you might get the odd strange little bit, with different states have different driver license types and different card
Yes.
numbers. And when you're verifying ID, sometimes you need the driver license number and the card number. In some states you don't. And so but all of that stuff we kind of manage already because we already do Australian IDs within Two Shakes, even for New Zealanders. So there are different things that will happen in different states, but
Not
at an
for AML.
overall level for AML, it's a national.
And ATO, to be fair, as well, the tax
Yeah.
office, the equivalent of the IRs.
Isn't
Does Two Shakes so when my husband did his AML verification with you guys, like he's on a British passport. I married a London boy, reeled him back here as well, Ata. But I think he used his New Zealand driver's license for the ID. But does Two Shakes recognise? Is it just because you said it recognises Australian? Does it recognise
Yeah.
other countries as well?
Not to the point where we can verify the data. So, and this is the problem. We could turn on all of the passports and driver licenses from the world, and in some cases that would be fine because you'd have a biometric verification that that's a genuine document and that's the person who that document belongs to. But for AML in particular, we can't then say for a British passport we can't send that back to the British government and verify the data because not easily anyway, and probably it would cost us a fortune compared to the value. So we can't verify the data, you can't do it. But with New Zealand and Australia, like the NZTA allow us to do that, the DIA of driver licenses, DIA allows us to do passports, and Australia has this DVS, document verification service, and we can connect into that and verify the data that is on that Australian driver license. So we can do those because we can verify the data. Other countries, we can do the biometric bit, but it's how much value there is in it. If we can't verify the data, you certainly wouldn't meet AML requirements.
Yeah, gosh, that like AML's such a big beast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Strict.
Yeah, gosh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Alright.
we should stop talking about AML because
Yeah.
we want to talk about how awesome Two Shakes is and how you guys help bookkeepers onboard clients. And Ken hates AML. So you got any other
I
questions?
do not hate AML. I actually had an experience about it recently, like especially with a previous question, but I was like, I don't think we have enough time for it. So we'll talk about it on another time. But now what I want to focus on is systems and scaling, especially for our bookkeepers. So like, how does structured onboarding, if our bookkeepers have a, like sign up with Two Shakes and have a structured onboarding, how will this help their business grow?
It does. It really does. So we see it a lot. Really small bookkeepers come along, and then we look back in on them in a few years' time and they've just grown. Yeah.
They will start often new bookkeepers in particular, or small bookkeepers. They think, oh, I don't need a system. I'll worry about that further down the track when I'm bigger. But not having the system stops them getting bigger down the track, because there's nothing worse than I'm signing on a customer and I've got an option to get this customer, but either I don't know really what to do and all of the things I need to do to get that customer set up, or the admin that I know that I'm facing is just too much to do it. So it makes you less inclined to take people on. So having the systems up front, even if you've got no customers and you signed up for Two Shakes and you were ready to get your engagement letter, get your authorities, it's all there ready to go. As soon as a customer is available and you say, look, I'll just send you this, what's your email address? And by the time you get back to the office, they've signed up with you and you've got your first customer. So right from the very start, it's worth it. And if you don't have that from the start, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Do you think that it adds to the credibility as well? Like if I was signing up with a bookkeeper that I heard of through, word of mouth from someone who knew someone who knew someone, when you get like an official looking document from them, like it just adds to the credibility of their, I don't want to say expertise, that's not the right word.
Yeah,
of
it's the
professionalism,
professionalism.
maybe?
It's your shop
Yeah.
window, right? You know, this is your first. It's that really crucial time when you're just having your first interactions, you know. And if you say to somebody, "Oh, like I'll bring you something over and you can scribble on it and then fill in this form and fill in this form and then if you got your drivers, it's a huge amount of work. But if you say, "Look, I'll send you a thing," you know, click on the link, you get an email, click on the link, you review it, you electronically sign, you do your ID, and it's all done. You know, because you want that to be really easy for your customer and really professional. But you want it to be really easy and professional for yourself as well. And that
Mm.
we do both sides of it, and that's what makes it easy to grow your business and scale your business. Um, because you can take on new customers without it being a huge amount of work. You know, taking on new customers really slows you down. Honestly, as well, Ken, as far as scale goes, oh, go on, Sandy.
No, I was going to say, so obviously it has like a positive impact on like your time, your
Yeah.
profitability, and your client
It
experience,
improves.
then, doesn't it? Because you're kind of, if you start using it from when you begin, you're setting yourself up for good systems later on as you grow.
Yeah,
And it encourages you to grow because it's not painful. It's less painful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah, and on top of which, one of the things that we talked about, you know, you can remotely sign somebody up. So businesses like Bookkeepers traditionally have been geographically, you know, the town or, you know, this little area within 10-kilometer radius or whatever, because you need to know your clients and do that, and you need to meet them and see things. And when you bring AML or even just government ID to get authority and you're having to verify ID, it makes it really hard, you know, if with traditional paper systems, to meet your compliance requirements and still take on customers that are further than 5 or 10 kilometers away. And you know yourself, Sandy, you know, if you're doing your socials and you're putting a bit of advertising out, and you have to say, "Oh, I only want to have this geographic area." If you can say, no, actually, I want to advertise the whole of New Zealand, because I can take a customer on anywhere in New Zealand
Or Australasia.
or Australasia, you know, but I can take a customer on right across the board. And if I get them, all I need to know, once I've had a chat with them, their email address, they can electronically review everything, sign it, they can do their ID verification. I can even meet AML for a customer that is at the opposite end of the country and I've never met them, and I can still meet my compliance for that and get
Yeah.
to work. So you can grow your business
I think it's
across the
interesting. I
country.
think it's interesting too because you can be a bookkeeper that just does a really narrow thing. Like you can say,
Yeah.
I'm only interested in doing bookkeeping for goat herders. I want to be the goat herder bookkeeper of New Zealand, for example. And then you can get, and then you can really know everything there is to know about the bookkeeping for the goat herding community because you've got a big customer base and you can focus in,
Mm.
give them outstanding goat herding bookkeeping. For example, I'm just using that as a silly example.
I want to know if there's a goat herding industry in New Zealand now. Like, is that a thing, or did you just come out like, where did that come from?
Well,
Yeah, and
it's open for one of your bookkeepers to
some bookkeeper
plant.
can get into that niche. But, you know, that's
Or
the
for
point.
builders or for plumbers or whatever
Yeah,
it is your little,
Oh,
the thing that you're
they're
really
boring. Let's go back to the goat herders.
but it's right,
cat
'cause
herders, that's another
yeah,
specialism.
there might not be enough in Masterton. Well, there probably is enough in Masterton, but, you know, if where we are, but, you know, there might not be enough in your local area, but there's likely to be enough across the whole country for you to specialize and just have the kind of customers that you're
That you
kinda
like.
into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah.
I think that COVID actually helped in that regard because,
Agree.
yeah, people like as crappy as it was at the time, right? It actually helped show people what was possible to do from home.
Yeah.
Like when I had my when I had my oldest daughter, I ended up leaving my job because they said I couldn't do my job remotely, and then all of a sudden the whole world was
Is
remote.
doing it
Like it just,
remotely.
yeah, it just kind of yeah, blew it all on its head. But I think it actually was to the benefit of bookkeepers and two shakes as well, right? It kind of proved the point that you could do it all online.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You can do it from the beach.
Yeah.
That's such a sore
Just
topic,
come back
Sandy.
from the beach.
You can do it
You know,
anywhere, really.
Yeah.
and all of that leads to making it easy to scale your business.
Yeah.
If that's what you
Yeah.
wanna do, go for it. you know?
Yeah.
Actually, it's interesting in Australia how distributed their teams are.
Mm,
And they do work with people in lots of different countries. So that's really normal
yeah.
for them to have staff
Wow.
countries all
Mm.
working on practice, more so than in New Zealand,
So
I think.
outsourcing is quite a big thing over there. Is it
Yeah.
outsourcing? It is outsourcing, isn't it?
Outsourcing, yeah.
We're dealing with practices over there and we're talking to somebody. We're all online like this, and it turns out that, somebody is
In a
5
different
time zones away,
Yeah, yeah. You are looking at time zones to get a meeting time when everyone can fit together.
Yeah.
So it's just a different world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you go.
So in
Wow.
summary, if you want to have, save time, have a better client experience, what are you waiting for? Sign up with Two Shakes now.
Thank you, Ken. I'll take that.
You needed
Uh,
to bring out your presenter voice. Come on, like that was like put some feeling into it, Ken.
I'll ask my husband to do it. Just like for context. So it's actually my husband Steven who does our intro and outro for our podcast because we discovered that he has a presenter voice. So I'll ask him to do something for Two Shakes. What are you waiting for? Sign up with Two Shakes.
that would be brilliant. I love it.
We do love
When we
bookkeepers.
find all these hidden talents around the place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Sandy and I are trying to cut costs. So if we can ask our husbands to do it, why not?
Absolutely.
Have you seen all the videos and things that we put on social media? The correct answer is yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Alta's seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. We those are our husbands are our assistants. And a couple times I've roped my kids and their toys into things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
What's
good
the
fun.
secret with social media? How do you come up with all the pizzazz? I mean, I don't know. Is it hard?
Well, Ken and I just message each other and say, "This looks cool. Should we do this?"
It
Oh,
also
yeah.
does include 2 to 3 hours of just doom scrolling on your phone on a daily basis until a reel like inspires you with an idea. I'm like, hang on, I can actually use that one for NZQBA. So it's not a
Oh,
complete waste of time.
I think we've said this a couple of times before, but if people were to read our chats,
Yeah.
like,
what would they be
yeah,
cryptic or just concerning?
yeah, no, it's a scary place in there, but we come up with our best ideas.
Exactly.
I have to say, there's a couple of times when I've been emailing the two of you, and then each one's been replying, and I've been chipping in, but then you start talking to each other, and I'm just and I'm thinking, yeah, this is a great workplace,
Oh,
But
that's
I
great.
wouldn't be jealous because I can see all of this going on. I'm thinking, you guys are just having fun, aren't you? It's
Exactly. We
brilliant.
actually
We
did
basically
one.
do.
Yeah, we actually did one recently with Pete. Remember
Yeah,
from Pay Hero? Because
the hero.
they're
Oh,
also coming back. Yes, they're also coming back to the conference again, and we were just talking about them signing up, and then like I always remember that when we talk to Pete, he also needs to remember his Whitakers for Sandy. So I just brought it up for Sandy, and then it became a completely different conversation.
it's a like how I've been around bookkeeping conferences for a number of years, and I walk around the exhibition. You know this personally, you guys. I walk around the exhibition areas and see what like snacks I can get, because usually when you're organising a conference, you don't get lunch. And so I remember the first couple of years I met Pete at Two Shakes, and they had Whitaker's chocolates at their stand, and all the good ones were gone. Like the hokey pokey was gone, and so it started being a thing. And so they got me my own packet at one point, I think, just to shut me up about the Whitakers. So now every time I see him, I'm like, mate, don't forget my chocolate.
Yeah.
But on a similar note, like I've actually got some Two Shakes coffee cups. I should have got one today in my cupboard from one of the first times that I met Mike, who's also, whenever I call him, I say, hi, my favorite Mike. I don't know if I know any other Mikes, but you're my favorite anyway.
I'll take.
Yeah, I've got some Two Shakes coffee cups in my kitchen, the red ones with the white
Yeah, yeah,
logo on.
yeah.
And then I had a plant from you guys as well. I think, yeah, my chickens killed that.
Oh, that's a
My
shame.
Yeah.
favorite Two Shakes merchandise is actually those hats, and I wasn't able to get one. So maybe this year?
Oh, we'll have to send you one.
Are you
We
bringing
got
them back?
I
They're
even
just
got
the
green
coolest,
ones.
Alien
honestly.
Greek.
As we went over to a few conferences in Australia, we thought we would get a green one as well, and I think it's pretty good.
We have black ones though,
You
and
got
blue ones.
yeah, blue, orange, and green.
Yeah.
I
Did
think
they
they're
appreciate the effort of the green? Like, I hope someone
Uh,
noticed. I would
yeah,
have noticed.
well, if they didn't, we pointed it out to them.
Yeah. I did take that one.
They did definitely like
Welcome
it.
to the Kiwi way of life.
Yeah, it's like we got that
I know
especially for
that
you, man.
I know that Ken wants to move on to asking you her favorite. She has this little segment coming up that's her favorite thing. But I actually I've just thought of something. So you guys both went to Australia. But going back to the start of this conversation, Ata is the brains behind Two Shakes. Mike's the poster
Absolutely.
boy.
boy.
Yeah. Are you like, because I was just thinking, like, it's usually Mike that we're talking to. You're kind of in the background now, Ata. Are you actually full-time in Two Shakes, or did you just come up with the idea and say, go and do that, Mike, and then you went back to doing something else? Or are you still quite, I'm sorry, I feel like that was a rude question now. You are?
Oh.
Yeah. So was that because of the Australian launch that you came full-time, or? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
she came back full time. So Atta was full time with me for years at the start, and then
No,
as it
you were
settled,
full-time with her. Sorry,
yeah,
come on.
absolutely quite right. So we did that for a few years, and then as things settled down, Atta was more sort of part time and doing some other things. And to be honest, you were getting calls from lots of other people to go and do exciting things, and that's what Atta likes too. So Atta did that for a bit and was more part time. But then with all of the stuff with Australia and all of the AML, and even just launching in Australia, I wouldn't be doing it if Atta wasn't here part full
You have
time
all
again.
your sleeves up.
Getting stuck into all of that Australian AML legislation.
And
So,
does that change the dynamic of your relationship at all? Like now that you're working full time together?
God, that's exactly what I was going to ask, Ken. We're like totally on the wavelength here.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, totally changes it. Not
Does
really,
it?
yeah.
No, not really. It did. Actually, the funny thing was when we first went on the accelerator, when we started Two Shakes like 10 years ago. In fact, on the 2nd of June, which is only like a few weeks away, it's 10 years since our demo day at the embassy.
Oh, yeah.
oh, happy
So,
10-year demo day
oh,
birthday.
no. So, but when we first went on the accelerator, we like been together for, I don't know, 15, 20,
Oh.
15, 18 years, but we never worked together. And that accelerator, it's a pressure environment, but at the same time, we were like, well, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do that. And we couldn't quite work it out to start with.
Yeah, we did duke it out a bit,
Yeah,
but we figured it out in the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, and then it was like, once we worked it out, it was fine. But just
You
working together,
retired the boxing gloves.
yeah, no.
No work before coffee in the
Yeah,
morning.
we have
Number
this
one
rule.
Yeah.
This rule, it's like ask me something, it's like, have I had coffee?
No.
No. So we can't talk about work at all until
Yeah.
I've got a cup of coffee in my hand and at least a sip, you know.
Do you
And I mean,
sometimes delay your coffee because you don't want to talk about it?
I would never delay coffee.
No, coffee's a necessity.
So what's the
Yeah.
I'm just curious, what's the official title then? So like Mike, you're still the CEO of Two Shakes, right? And what does that make Ata?
So Atta is CX.
CEO of Mike.
Yes, CEO, yeah. The Thai fucker Mike. No, Atta's the CXO, which was, the idea was customer experience
Oh.
officer. But Atta's more like focused, basically, would you say product owner?
Yeah, I'm the product. Really. Yeah.
Product owner, voice of the customer, designer, service designer, all of that stuff was always Atta. So we wrapped it together into CXO. We've played with the idea that it's about time Atta became CEO and I had a different role and that Atta could be the one in charge, but I've not quite landed that yet. But I really like the idea of Atta taking the baton up and being CEO for a few years.
Mm. So
Mike
But
wants
for
to go
now,
camping.
yeah, I want to go camping.
I like
Yeah,
what I'm doing at the moment.
yeah,
I'm happy.
Ata's
Yeah.
happy.
So yeah, I do believe in this saying, happy wife, happy life. So is it also the same thing when you're making business decisions in Two Shakes?
Happy like, happy
Yeah.
life.
It's the other way around.
We make decisions together,
Mm.
when they need to.
Yeah, we're pretty good at resolving issues.
Yeah.
And we have quite often we have different views about things.
Yeah.
But it's all to the benefit of the outcome. So as long as if you think about something differently to someone else, it's actually a good thing
Yeah.
because you kind of
True.
nut it out and then the thing is better for it. So
Yeah.
even though it's
So is
frustrating,
your workplace as fun as ours? Clearly ours is fun. Mike's been sucked into the fun before. Is yours as fun?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's as fun, but I'd like to think it was okay.
I think it's pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because we mostly work from home, if something needs to happen, then you can stop for a couple of minutes and do it,
Separate offices, or do you share an office? Like, do you need a barrier?
This is yeah.
Separate offices. I think I've got 3 offices that I dot between depending on what I'm doing. I have these contextual things that I need to do, so it's like I'm in here when I'm doing this, and I'm doing support, and then I'm thinking about Australia, so I'll take my laptop somewhere else, and then I'm thinking about New Zealand development, so I'll go somewhere
Love
else.
that. Yeah.
So I have these different. If I'm in different locations, I can reset
No.
and be doing
Like
that.
context
Yeah,
thing, yeah.
yeah. So I actually move my laptop around to different places.
Are you do you see your kids becoming involved in Two Shakes?
Well, our second son is actually a developer for us just now. So, yeah. So yeah. Well, I love the idea of having them involved. I was trying to encourage our daughter to. I think she'd be great at social media, and I was trying to encourage her, but she wasn't interested. She's like, nah. Um, she's
Did you offer
saving
to
up for
pay
her
her, or were you expecting
Oh, no, I
freebies?
was actually going to pay her more than she gets paid just now. I was going to give her more than minimum wage. She's saving up to do her OE, and I was like, I really thought, this is
She's
great.
on to social media all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I know she's real good at social
Like a
media,
TikTok thing.
and she wasn't. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. So,
Not
but our second son works for us as a developer. And he is really
he's quite
good.
good.
Yeah, we're very happy with how that's working out. So,
Family
and it's
business.
cool because you have this like professional thing, where you're working away and you're talking about what about this, and you're specking things up and putting them in Trello, and he's working through them and everything, and it's all professional. And then you get the right. By then, Dad, love you. So it's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. So
Aww.
it switches in and out, and I really like it. I would have all of our kids working with us, but I've only
From
managed to
memory,
attract.
one of your other sons is a musician, isn't he?
No, that's the
So
same one. He
oh, is it?
we limit his time with us so that he can still do like recording
Oh,
and session musician and all of the other music stuff that he does as well. Yeah. So, but a little bit because it was always like he was going to be a musician or a developer because he was sort of doing both. So now he does both as a job.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. For sure.
My parents didn't do that for me. Come on, people. We're like, what? Hi, Mum.
But we get a lot out of it. We do pay him, but we get a lot out of it. So
Are
it will.
your youngest is with you in Masterton. Are your older three still in Wellington, or are they?
No, the 2 oldest have left and they're in Wellington, but the next 2 are still in Masterton with us. Our daughter is going to her OE soon, and then she's already told us she'll be leaving pretty much when she gets back early next year. So it'll just be the youngest. So there's always a chance that he might want to come and join us as a developer, but who knows?
Yeah.
You've
More
got
like
time to convince him.
I think he's more likely to be a good salesperson. So.
Yeah.
Got to have one of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we actually have as what Sandy mentioned earlier, this quick bit. We love to call it quick fire round. It's actually gonna be interesting because this is the very first recording we have with two people. So
Oh,
you can take turns in answering it. Or
Okay.
give your own answer, whatever. That's all good. But basically, the idea behind this is to not overthink it. Just whatever the first thing that comes to your mind. Just tell us about it, okay? So I will start now. So maybe ladies first. Ata, you can answer first, and then Mike, give me your answer.
I was
But the
worried you
idea
were going
behind
to
it is
get
a quick fire
confused.
round, okay? So no overthinking. It's okay. It's very easy. It's non AML, non two shakes related questions, okay? So it's gonna be pretty easy. All right, are you ready?
Mike looks scared.
Okay. All right. Coffee or tea, Ata?
Oh, coffee in the morning and tea in the afternoon.
Oh, Mike.
Same, actually. Well, tea in the evening. Always coffee in the morning.
Okay, coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoon. Are you both early bird or night owl?
Probably more night owl than early bird. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
definitely. I was always a night owl. I think as I get older, I'm getting more early and getting a bit sleepy toward the evening more than I did. But I was
Ah.
always a night owl growing up. But I'm definitely turning
Well,
more into
old owl.
yeah, an old owl,
Old
old
owl.
wise old Professor Yaffle owl.
That's a new one. I love it. Okay, old owl. All right. Who's more likely to reply to emails at 10 p.m.? Because you just said that you're an old owl. Mike, okay. This
Oh,
one. Who's the more organized one out of the two of you?
Depends what it is.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. Who's more organised? You.
oh.
You.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Mike's never
Okay,
late.
Mike.
Wait. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
But Luca
Um,
says Atta, I'm not sure. But I'm never late.
Sometimes late.
yeah,
I answered my
it
phone.
depends on the situation. Yeah. Paper to-do list or everything digital?
Paper to-do list.
Digital.
I thought for sure it's gonna
Papa.
be everything digital. I was like, okay, interesting. All right. What are your favorite way to unwind after work?
Yeah. Beer's good.
Beer is
Oh, I
good.
like to go to the gym. I like to go to the gym a lot. Yeah.
Atta goes to the gym
Oh,
every day.
Yeah.
And Mike sits at home
I
and has a beer.
I go to the yeah, if I can. I go to the gym like a few times a week, but I will try and get to the sauna at the swimming pool every day if I
oh
can.
yes,
At least 5 or 6 days
yes.
a week. A sauna and then spa pool at the end of the day, relaxed.
So do
And
you
then
guys go to the gym together? Ata goes to the workout place. No. Oh.
Oh,
So
we
when
go to
does
different.
I go to
sauna?
different gyms.
Oh, all right. Okay.
They live together, they work together, but
Yeah,
they go to
yeah, yeah,
different
exactly.
gyms.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Consideration.
The gym I go to is actually the swimming pool in Masterton, and I can go swimming and I can go to the sauna and stuff. And the gym Atta goes to, oh, I'd say it.
Oh, I teach classes at that gym, so I go to a different gym. Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, that's so fun. Okay. I already know the answer, Mike's answer to this question. So, but I'm interested to hear Ata's. If you weren't running two shakes, I know Mike would already be a rapper, but Ata, what would you be doing?
Oh, I'll probably be gardening. I don't know, building
Oh,
like
Really?
a full organic garden out there, pumping with food.
This is true.
Yeah.
okay. And Mike, a rapper, definitely, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Good.
I could be a
No,
rapping gardener.
no doubt. You could.
I could be
Yeah.
your backup dance
We've
mix.
we've got video of Mike rapping, and for an appropriate bribe, I think we might consider it,
Yes.
but there'd have to be a lot of
Well,
zeros at the end.
Look, my phone's
nobody,
memory is
nobody
almost full,
needs to
but
see
that's
that.
one video I could never delete in my phone. So
No, nobody needs to see
I
that.
want to see this video. I think I deserve
Why
it.
should you?
actually pretty cool. Like if I was you, Mike, I would be proud of it. That was a masterpiece. Like you were really good at it. So
Oh,
he
that's
sang a Macklemore song and he smashed it. It was pretty good.
So we're accepting offers for that footage.
But,
Anyone out
yeah,
there wants to pay
and
us,
I
we'll
will.
release it.
I will top whatever you get offered. I will top it. You keep it under
It
wraps.
sounds like a win-win for us. Like we're not going to lose
Exactly.
anyway here.
Exactly.
I sort of like it.
All right. Okay, most used app on your phone. Ata?
Oh,
Does Two
probably.
Shakes have an app?
We don't need
We
it.
don't have an app. No, probably my Whoop app.
It works in the
I don't know if you know
browser.
what Whoop.
Oh.
Whoop is like a fitness app thing. Yeah, that's mine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Many
And you,
ones.
Mike?
I will be keeping up to date with sport in the UK and the news in New Zealand. So just my browser. So that's.
BBC News.
But as far as actual
BBC.
BBC News for all of the sport and
Yeah.
news over there. Yeah.
My husband
I
is
thought you were
addicted to it. As soon as he gets home, it's like, because Arsenal, he's a massive Arsenal supporter, and they just got into
Oh, we
some
just
sort
did
of
this. Yeah, this
something or
Champions League.
other.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Arsenal's fine.
Second time or something in history, and he was talking about it, and BBC's attached to his phone when it's English Premier League's on.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm the same.
One
I'll
thing
be
you
looking
both
at the
complete.
results and looking at the Arsenal results.
Yeah. All right, next one. One thing you both completely disagree on.
Are we trying to create marriage problems here, Ken?
No.
I'm not the one who asked.
Okay.
Oh, I don't
Nothing.
like chocolate.
Ata doesn't like white
Yeah,
chocolate.
white chocolate's
Ata
lovely.
thinks white chocolate isn't actual chocolate, and I think white chocolate is delicious.
Yeah, there we go.
So
Oh,
I'm right.
Ata,
Yeah.
I'm
not
judging you
yeah.
right now.
Actually, I'm
Yeah.
with Ata on this one.
Yes.
Oh. Okay, Sandy.
Just open like not a problem between Mike and Ata, but between us, Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going
Oh,
to
I think
have
we're
words
gonna
about
create
that later, Ken.
Creating a little bit of eruptions at NZQBA as well.
Yeah, exactly.
The white chocolate debate.
Mike just broke our fun working environment with chocolate.
All because of chocolates. You know? Okay, next one. Who's more likely to say there has to be a better way to do this?
My money's on Ata.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm
And
always
then-
trying to
she did
fix
great.
Yeah, Ata will be like, there has to be a better way to do this, and then she'll say, probably if we did this now, make it happen, and I'll be the one slogging away to make it happen.
Oh, it's a bit harsh, but it's lovely.
Yeah.
I mean, as the three women in this Zoom room here would probably be like, "What's the problem with that? Like, what?"
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. What are
I
you
was
talking
super-
about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always a better way.
Yeah. Okay, this one. Biggest pet peeve when onboarding a new client?
Oh, that's a you question, Mike.
Onboarding a
don't
new
sign up?
nutrition client.
Yeah.
Well, no, we get a lot of people who sign up, and you send people information, and then they'll they just ask questions without really looking at what you've already asked or told them, and it gets a bit, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Frustrating.
Read the manual. Read the help. Follow the instructions. But there's no real pet peeves. If somebody wants to sign up, it's funny if somebody wants to use your software when you've invested so much in it. It feels like a privilege that they want to use it. So you just go the extra mile anyway. So there might be the odd little thing, but I don't have any real pet peeves. If somebody wants to use our software, it's like
Yeah.
thank you so much.
And my last question, what's one word to describe great onboarding?
Effortless.
Effortless, yeah. We actually use it in our tagline. It should always be
Effortless.
effortless.
So easy.
Effortless for you.
I thought you guys were going to say Two Shakes.
Exactly, that's what I was
Easy.
thinking as well, Andy.
Easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's how it started. Signing up a new customer should be as quick as 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
Yeah. All right. So I think that wraps up our podcast today. Do we? But to just for closing reflections, Sandy, do you want to ask them one question?
What are you most excited about for Two Shakes this year, next year, this year, in the future?
Well, it's Australia. The stuff that we're doing over there's a whole new market. It's like 10 times the size of New Zealand. We've been doing like the software in New Zealand for 10 years. It's proven. But the opportunity over there to get bigger and then to make a whole bunch of improvements that we can bring back to the New Zealand market and make the software even better for people here, that's what it's all about for me.
And I'm this year.
So selfishly, you guys aren't going to move there or anything, are you? Because I would be really upset if I missed out on my mic time. Like, it's like having a fun dad around
Yeah.
that you can joke with. Like, don't leave us.
I'll keep being the fun dad. I will not. We've got
Mm.
Good. I'm happy
Yeah.
with that.
Good to hear that. Yeah.
Is it the same for you, Ata, then? You're excited about Australia or anything else on the
Australia is
horizon?
great, but the other thing that I'm really keen on is we're looking at, this is technical, but we're looking at our new UX for the software. So we're going to smarten up and crispen up the how it works, and so that's coming this year as well in New Zealand, and that's going to make the software super sexy.
So just to
Oh,
clarify, though,
fun.
this is like your idea and you're making Mike slog it out and making it happen, right?
Yes. This is an example of that one.
But it's for the benefit of all, so
sounds strangely familiar.
I can't wait to see a sexy Two Shakes. That would be
Yeah.
like,
Well, I mean, it's pretty good
Yeah.
looking anyway.
It's pretty good looking
gonna-
already.
It's going to be size
Yeah.
resistant.
Better. Yeah.
actually, like, I know you just mentioned it before, but Two Shakes. So was that actually how you came up with the name of the company? Because the effortless, two shakes of a tail feather. Is that what you said?
Lamb's tail.
Yeah.
A lamb's tail.
Well,
Is that a UK saying? I don't know.
no, it's global. Before we put I'm the branding person, so Two Shakes was me. But I did a lot of research on this. They use it in New Zealand, they use it in Australia, the UK, America. Everybody uses Two Shakes of a lamb's tail.
It's just to say it's quick.
Do you mean it's really quick? Plus, because it was an agreement, you're doing a shake. It became Two Shakes. It just made sense.
Okay.
You like fun fact, Sandy? During the Manhattan Project, when they were working out how to build a nuclear bomb and all sorts of things, one of the things that they were looking at is the time it takes for the nuclear fusion to propagate. And they needed a tiny amount of time to kind of measure that in a reasonable amount rather than using like 10 to the -9 or whatever. And somebody on the project in America said, well, we need an idea of something that's really, really quick. And one of the engineers said, well, 2 shakes of a lamb's tail is really quick. So the shake is actually a unit of atomic time. It's 10 to
I
the
love
minus.
a fun fact.
Oh,
That is
wow.
And the
awesome.
onboarding was that fast. Now, that would be amazing.
So the shake is a unit of atomic time. Yeah, there you go.
That's so cool.
Which I didn't
Yeah.
know at the time when we first came up with the name,
Yeah.
but I did find out
So-
about it.
So I reiterate, you cannot move to Australia because we need mic time with fun facts.
Fun facts, absolutely.
Exactly.
And dad jokes.
Yes,
dad
and dad jokes, lots of it. All right. Well, Mike, Ata, thank you both for joining us today. This has been a really practical conversation, and I think a lot of our bookkeepers will walk away rethinking how they approach onboarding in AML.
And I get to do the video. Goodness me, the announcer voice now. If you want to learn more about Two Shakes, check them out at www.twoshakes.co.nz. And while I think of it, bonus offer here, if you are an NZQBA member, we've got a really awesome deal in our member area on the website where you can sign up with Two Shakes, which you should do for all the reasons we've talked about. You'll get your first 10 clients free, and they'll even give you $100, which is pretty cool. They're not giving us $100.
That's right.
Sign up.
Yeah, exactly. $100.
$100 for you.
Anyway, go and
Yeah,
check
I
out the website.
I don't know if you noticed the commotion that just happened when I was talking about like the fact that we have 4 kids and a dog and 3 cats. The dog just came in.
Oh, hello.
Do you want to say hello?
Oh,
Hmm?
I missed it because I was in a TV presenter mode reading my spiel.
Oh, so your dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you, guys.
that was great.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been
It's a
awesome.
pleasure talking to you. I love the quick fire questions. They're
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
And If anybody needs any more info or whatever, feel free to just give us a shout, email us, and we will help your members any way we can. And not just with the software, but if they're even not sure of how to do a particular thing, or I don't know if AML applies or whatever, they can just ask us. We'll give them advice. We're quite happy to spend the time.
Because you guys are fun, lovely, and awesome.
Yes,
Thank
that's
you so
right.
much, Matt.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you, Ata. And thank you to all of our members for listening. And we'll see you on the next episode of Behind the Books. Bye.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Behind the Books with Ken and Sandy. We hope you enjoyed diving into the world of bookkeeping with us. Don't forget to check out www.nzqba.co.nz for more insights, resources, and updates. Until next time, keep crunching those numbers and having a laugh along the way.